I'm going to be sharing with you in this video how to become the best version of yourself and actually level up in your life, and what this actually means. Because how do you actually level up in your life? Like, what does it actually mean to become a better version of yourself? How do you define this? What does this actually mean? I'm going to be sharing with you in this video what this actually means, how to become the person that you actually want to be, align your actions with your intentions so that you can shift into that identity that you prefer to be in your life. And so the first thing that I want to share with you in this video in terms of how to actually become that best version of yourself and actually level up in your life, I do believe the most important concept that we're going to need in your life, or one of the most important concepts to actually do this, is discipline. Discipline is going to be one of the most important concepts to create the identity that you prefer in your life. What does it even mean to shift into a different identity? What it means is to discipline yourself to be somebody different, to be a different version of yourself. You might have an idea of who you want to be in your life, but you have to discipline yourself to actually do it. And what is even discipline? Well, I would say discipline is your ability to follow through with a decision, to be something, right? You make a decision. This decision can be an externally communicated decision that you say to somebody. It could be something that you've never even said to someone. It could be an internal decision that you decided for yourself to be a certain type of individual in the world, or to align with some kind of intention. You could almost think of it like almost like an intention is a decision. Like when you're holding an intention in your mind's eye to be a certain individual in the world, that's a discipline right there. Because aligning with that intention, that's going to be your discipline. That's going to be your way of moving forward in the world, and you're not going to stop until that intention is manifested, if you want to use that word, if you don't like that word, or created into existence. You don't need to use the word manifest if you don't like it. I don't really like that word. I think a better word is become the person that you want to be. Just act and follow through. Just act with who in alignment with that decision. That's discipline. So if you want to become the best version of yourself, what does that mean? Well, the best version of yourself is the one that you decide for yourself and who you want to be. You know, if you're walking through life and you're unconsciously creating a version of yourself that you didn't decide, that's not really you being aligned with the best version of yourself. Because, you know, I don't think that somebody making a decision for you is going to be the best decision for you. For you to be the best version that you want to be, it's going to be something that has to come from an internal decision that you make in your own heart. As cliche as it sounds, you need to make that choice in your heart. And so I think that if we take this concept of discipline very seriously in our life, that's what we need to become the best version of ourselves and actually level up. I think that discipline, and we don't take this concept seriously, we don't think like, oh, like, I'm not going to take this concept seriously. It's like, it doesn't really matter. It's like, no, if we don't take this concept seriously, what happens is that we literally are creating sort of this life where you're not even the narrator anymore. Like, it's just sort of happening. Like, the movie's happening, but you're not the narrator of the movie. You're not the director of the movie. You're watching a movie that almost like you don't even get to write the plot anymore. And that's not a really fun existence. So if you're walking through life and you don't get to create the plot of your own movie, you're basically living a movie that somebody directed for you. And I don't think that's really a fun way to live, is allowing other people to direct the movie. Like, imagine it's like you create your own movie, like you make this movie, you're so excited, right? And you're about to release it, and then somebody comes in and just changes the whole entire thing. And it's like, well, what do you think of that movie? And it's like, well, it's not really the movie that I wrote. I mean, it's nice. It's not bad. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I like this movie. But it's like, if the person changed it completely, you, of course, might feel some type of way about that. And I would as well, because it's like, well, why did I spend, all these hours working on this movie, being the director, writing the plot, writing the story, creating the characters, and then this person comes in here and just changes it all and says, well, what do you think of this? It's like, well, that's not bad, but it's not the one that I wrote for myself, and it's a little different. It's not bad, but it's like, I don't know if that's the one that I would want to live into or release under my name. It's like, I don't want to release this movie under my name. Maybe you can release that movie under your name, but I don't want to release this movie under my name. That's not what I want to do. And so the second thing that I want to share with you in this video, I really do believe is very important to become the best version of yourself and actually level up is to remember to move forward in your life. Because if I think there's only one direction to move in, and that's to go is to go forward in life. It's to go forward, in a forward direction. There's no going backwards, in life really. And if you go backwards, that's a decision that you're going to have consequences, for making that choice. I think that to become the greatest version of ourselves is to continue to only go straight, metaphorically speaking, where you only move forward, like you move towards your intention. Like if you want to move backwards, if you want to stagnate, then don't move forward. What do I mean by move forward? What I mean is, when you're feeling stagnated, when you feel like you're stuck in your life and you feel like you're not leveling up, well, you might feel like you're not taking action. You might feel like you are scared to take action. We need to let all of this resistance go and simply decide to take action anyway and then move forward in our life. And that what I mean by move forward is, don't be hung up so on the past. If you have a negative situation that occurred to you, at some point in your past, and that's stopping you from taking action today, you need to move forward from that, right? You can't be attached to the past. And you don't need to do anything. I'm not going to stand here in this video and tell that you have to do anything. I would never say in a video that you need to do this, unless it's a concept that I really think is so powerful. But even when I say it in that way, essentially speaking, you don't need to do anything. Even if I'm saying you have to do something, which I won't do that a lot, and if I do, you don't need to do anything. It's completely up to you, of course. You're an adult, you are your own person, but I highly invite and encourage every single human being to not attach to the past and stop the negative situations of the past, to not allow them to move forward to become something different in their life. And if you want to become something different in your life, if you want to become better, you need to let go of the past. You don't have to do this, but if you want to move forward into a better version of yourself, you need to do this. You want to let go of that version of yourself so that you can move forward into something new. Moving forward essentially means using stagnation as a tool to take action, to actually move forward. Before, some people might be in a consistent state of stagnation for most of their day, and then sometimes they get into a flow state and they take action towards their goal. What I'm inviting and encouraging in this video is to flip that 180 and always move forward in your life. Be the type of person that just always takes action and always moves forward. You have a negative situation in your life and you feel scared and you feel fearful and you feel resistance. Well, what does that mean? Well, it means that you're going to take action anyway, because that's the meaning that you decide to create on top of that situation. Most people, when they have a negative circumstance pop up in their life, they create a filter of the past. They project a filter of the past on that situation as a reason as to why they can't become who they want to be. I'm saying that when these inevitable negative situations happen, we see those situations in a way where it's like, well, what does it mean? It means that I'm going to take action anyway, because this is just a test to make me become a better person so that I can level up. If you see a situation as a test to help you level up and to become better, then so be it, because you decided so. If you decide to see a situation as something negative and as a reason as to why you should stop taking action, then this is the experience that you will create for yourself because of the thought pattern and the filter that you're projecting onto the situation. Whereas if you see the situation in a different way, you will actually create a different result in your life. Depending on how you see a situation in your life, it has the ability to shift the situation completely. So if you decide to move forward, you will create an experience of letting go of the past if you fully commit to that choice. And I do invite and encourage you to make that choice, because I think it's a really good choice to make. And so finally, the third thing that I want to share with you in this video is just to remember that I think that if you want to become the best version of yourself and actually level up in your life, what you're going to have to do is to have commitment to one thing at a time. I really believe that there's going to be so many opportunities in your life to give half commitment to the task that we're doing. Half commitments. Like, I'm going to do this 50%. Why would you give anything 50%? I just want to ask you something right now. Why would you give anything in your life 50%? I think every single moment we have an opportunity to give 100% of our attention to that situation. And if you're giving even less than 100% of your consciousness to the present moment, that's going to deteriorate your own experience of life. When you're not giving your full commitment to the present moment, I think that how we do one thing is how we do everything. So if we're giving 50% effort to one thing in our life, every other thing that we do in our life is also going to be created in a similar way. If you want to be 100% at what you do, give it 100% of your attention and watch how every other thing that you do, you're also going to show up in that same way. Regardless of what you do, give it your everything. Even if you're pouring a cup of water in the morning, you're pouring your own coffee, why would you do that 50%? If you can't even pour a cup of coffee in the morning 100%, how are you going to be in your relationship 100%? Or in your work relationships 100%, or at your job 100%, or in your business 100%, or in any kind of relationship. If you're in a relationship with a human, if you can't even give 100% to yourself when you're making your own coffee in the morning, and you can't even be excited to wake up about your day if you drink coffee, of course, if that's what you like to do, but whatever you're drinking, water or whatever you do, if you can't even give 100% to that situation, how are you going to be able to actually have fulfilled and connected relationships in your life? And that might seem like, it's like, Francis, come on, that's a little bit, that's not really connected. Those are two kind of separate things. And it's like, why would you, you're being a little exaggerated. Possibly so, but nonetheless though, commitment to one thing at a time is going to absolutely positively impact how you do everything in your life. If you can give your 100% full commitment and full energy to every single thing that you do in your life, you're going to see that those results manifest and transfer over into every other area of your life as well. Give one task your full attention. If you're talking to a person, listen to that person 100%. Don't be on your phone. Don't be distracted about other things happening in the area. Don't be distracted. If you're talking to somebody that you care about, give them your full attention. Fully commit to that individual in that moment. Well, what it means is that you're giving your full commitment to what you want moment to moment. And I'm not saying that you can't multitask in your life. Every moment calls for something different. You could be, multitasking at many different things at many different times in your life and possibly be juggling 5 to 6 to 7 tasks at once in one moment. That's, many successful people do this. But what I'm saying is that as you're multitasking all these 5 to 7 tasks, you're going to need a certain level of commitment to even do that in the first place. Like this concept of commitment, if you want to create something powerful in your life, commit to it every single day of your life for multiple years until it creates and until it happens. I'm not saying that it's guaranteed, but if you want to become the best version of yourself, and let's say there's a particular thing that you want to see happen in your life, whether it's a business idea, whether it's a character trait that you want to embody in your life, commit to it. Give it 100% of your commitment. Don't give it 50% commitment, fully commit to it. This concept of commitment, I think, is something that we don't take seriously enough in our life. I think that society takes this concept of commitment and thinks like, oh, well, we can just, be half committed to something and still expect results in our life. I don't think so. I think that it can have flukes, but if you want to build something secure, what is even security? Security is your ability to follow through with something and commit to it and see it happen in your life. That's security. Security is you trusting your skill sets to create something because you've committed so much to it for multiple years prior. If you committed to something for multiple years, if you got to something, if you committed to something 100%, you give it 100% of your energy for, 5 to 6 to 9, 10 years or something, right? And now you're very good at this task and you have skill sets to create things consistently. That's not lucky. That's you put in enough work to have a certain level of skill set to trust yourself to create something because you've already committed to that in the past. And I think that that's very powerful. I think that this is what is required of us to become our greatest version and to actually level up. I think that if we take discipline in our life seriously, we're going to level up. I think that if we can not attach to the past, not attach to negative situations in our life, we're going to level up. I think that if we can commit to our intentions 100% fearlessly and boldly and relentlessly, and take this concept of commitment seriously in our life and really commit to one thing at a time as much as possible, we're going to be successful in our life. And I think that if we take these concepts, we are going to level up and we are going to become our greatest version. I think that really essentially becoming your greatest version is just continuing to learn every single day, not attaching to being the same person, becoming something, evolving and transforming yourself and aligning with the truth that you are a transformative individual and we do not need to stay the same, and we're absolutely, creatures that can evolve and morph and transform every single moment. Moment to moment, you can transform into a better version of yourself. And I think that if we can really remember this, we're going to have a better time to level up and becoming the person that we actually want to be and see that version of ourselves happen in a life that we actually care about in